Farnsworth? The usual, sir.
Fire!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Toon, Duelists. Today I'm going to give you an update on our cool Toon deck profile. Now I'm super excited to show this one to you guys. Obviously, with the new support in Blazing Dominion, this deck rose to power and is one of, if not the best deck out there currently. And what can I say, guys? Told ya.
I'm looking forward for the new support we're definitely gonna get, I guess. You might want to get it now, because once they have some new support, they might actually become dangerous for the meta.
Before we dive into the archetype analysis and of course the deck profile, let me mention one thing real quick. I don't play Fedrallis Harmonia. Now I know it's a super powerful card, and if you want to spend that much money on a card, or you already have them, you should definitely play it, because this card is amazing. But one copy is about $70, and that's just too much in my opinion, so I decided not to play it. But don't you worry, this deck is powerful enough even without Fedrallis. Before we dive right into it, don't forget to like and subscribe, this would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us, of course. And we provide you with weekly deck profiles, test hands, combo tutorials, Nexus-Replays, and of course, the best Yu-Gi-Oh! News on YouTube. If you want to further support us, don't forget to check out our Instagram and our Twitch channel with the links in the description. And if you want to skip straight to the deck profile, you can do it with the chapters down below. But if you want to learn all there is to know about the cool Toon archetype, stay with me for our 5 categories. The first category, as always, is concept and lore. Well, the cool Toon or Killer Toon archetype, which is its name in the OCG, which is by the way so much better, is a music or DJ themed archetype. All the main deck monsters are DJs which perform in a club called the JJ Cool Toon. Trackmaker is the owner of this club and also a DJ himself. Every main deck monster is, as I already said, a DJ and has its own specific type of music he plays. Mix, for example, plays EDM and pop music, Clip plays digital hardcore, Q plays futurecore, Rico is there for the hip-hop vibes, and the newest edition, Rotary, is known for its goth and dark techno music. Loudness War can be seen as the evolution of Trackmaker, or rather the stage where all of those DJs perform in this club. But there's also another side to each of those monsters, because while they perform as DJs, they also perform as assassins in the nighttime. Which is another reason why the Killer Toon name in the OCG is so much better, because it combines the two sides of those monsters. DJs, tunes, and killers, assassins. Every DJ has a transformation in its assassin mode. Mix, for example, transforms to Remix, Rico transforms to RS obviously, Q and Rico can also be together in Cool Toon B2B, a new card we got in Blazing Dominion, as well as Cool Toon Crackle, which is the assassin mode of Clip right here. So as you might have already noticed, Q doesn't have a standalone assassin mode, as well as the brand new Rotary, so I think we still get some more synchro monsters for this archetype in the future. We, by the way, also know how Rotary, the newest member of the main deck monsters and the DJs of this club, was recruited among the Cool Tunes. Actually, when the Cool Tunes tried to assassin one of their victims, Rotary got him first and already unlived the target. The music theme is obviously very consistent in this whole archetype. Now, first of all monsters of this archetype are tuners, which of course relates to the term tune as in music, you know what I mean. Now, all of the names of the monsters obviously have a connection to music in some way. Mix is audio mixing, obviously. Clip as in clipping. Crackle as in the crackle noise you can hear sometimes. Rico as in phonographic record. Rotary as in rotary volume. Q as in, well, Q. Trackmaker obviously is another word for a producer. Well, Remix, it's on the nose, it's a remix. RS is for RCA Red Seal Records right here. Loudness War or Playlist are kind of on the nose. And JJ, as in JJ Cool Toon, stands for Juke Joint. So in conclusion, we have an archetype full of DJs, each with their own style, which also work as assassins. The theme is very consistent, even throughout not only concept or lore, also in artworks and maybe even playstyle, we'll talk about that later. And also the play on the card type tuner is just great in my opinion, and this is actually pretty unique in Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, we have some music-based themes, but the DJing is kind of unique, so in my personal opinion, a great concept right here. Next up, let's talk about the artworks. First of all, each DJ has a very different extravagant style, which refers to the music they usually play. Also, most of them have any kind of music-related item mixed into their outfits. We for example have headphones and plugs, cinch plugs and cables, regulators, tone arms and needles, and of course, speakers. The split between the two identities of each DJ is also portrayed in the cards. All the effect monsters are DJs, while all the synchro monsters are assassins. The only exceptions are Trackmaker and Loudness War, which are only synchro monsters, and we don't really know if Trackmaker is an assassin, but nothing points to it, so I guess the club, master, and the stage are just synchros as well. In their respective assassin form, they of course disguise themselves with masks and something like that and turn music equipments to weapons. A tone arm becomes a claw, or you shoot out cinch plugs as bullets. So really amazing ideas right here to combine concept and artwork, of course. I also think it's pretty cool that we only have 5 monsters so far, and in the synchro monsters we see the same monsters but in their assassin mode. So in conclusion, we have a very futuristic styled archetype right here that has the music theme deep in its bones and transports this in every fashion. And also we can see the two sides of this deck, DJs and assassins, combined in the artworks perfectly. I think the artworks are really creative, especially when it comes to how music equipment can become weapons, and also it's pretty unique, and the cyberpunkish style of those cards is what I personally at least love to the bone, so in my opinion artworks are peak. Next up, let's talk about the playstyle. Well, obviously it is a synchro based deck, since all the monsters of this archetype are only tuners. And it can spam those tuners immensely, as well as the synchro monsters, of course. The special effect of this archetype, which every main dark monster shares, helps with this, of course, that you can use tuners from your hand to synchro summon, which of course makes synchro summoning so much easier. And also, each of them has an effect to extend or special summon themselves, which makes the synchro spamming even easier. Also, each of them has disruptive effects when they are sent to the graveyard as synchro material. This archetype invented turn 1 synchro summoning with Clip back in the day. Well, back in the day. January, I guess. And also, quick synchro summoning is a specialty of this archetype. With Cool Tune Synchro and Clip, of course, it's no problem for you to perform various synchro summons during your opponent's turn. You have some combos, but they're actually pretty small. The real play starts in your opponent's turn. They also give you hand knowledge and hand or even extra deck manipulation to plan out your next turn, which of course fits perfectly to synchro summoning during your opponent's turn, and also kind of to the assassin thing, you know, like spying out your next target, look at their hand, look at their extra deck, and plan out the move to strike first and win the duel. So the spying, the very flexible and quick synchro summoning and interrupting playstyle fits the concept and the artworks perfectly in my opinion. First of all, just like a DJ switches his tunes during a mix, Cool Tune can also adapt to various game states and just play around what your opponent has in store. So in conclusion, we have a synchro-based mid-range deck with a lot of interactions during your opponent's turn. It doesn't combo like crazy. Your own turns won't last that long. The main play starts during your opponent's turn actually. It can build very layered boards, and of course the information of your hand, the top deck and the extra deck of your opponent can be super powerful if you know how to use it right. Next up, let's talk about the power level. And guys, what can I say? It is the meta deck currently. It is played by around 25% of players in tournaments currently, which is an insanely high ratio. And this is actually no surprise. With the new support we got, and Rotary especially, hand knowledge is insanely powerful. You can play around everything they have in their hand because you know what they have. And of course you can also control that top deck, so you know every card your opponent has in hand before you pass your turn. Combined with the layered boards this deck can build, it is almost unbeatable if the deck is played by the right pilot. Because that's the clue right here. Hand knowledge, extra deck knowledge, manipulating the top deck. is all very useful, but only if you know the deck your opponent plays. If you don't know what are the starters, what are the extenders, what card can I give him no problem, and what card can I not give him at any cost, this is not that useful actually. So in conclusion, guys, this is the tier 0 deck at the moment, at least in my opinion. The hand knowledge, the hand manipulating is just amazing, and in the right hands, you will beat almost every opponent with this, but that's the whole point of this deck. You have to know the deck you play against, and you have to be a good pilot with this deck, so it's no auto win if you just buy this deck and play it. It really depends on the pilot if you win or lose with this deck. And finally, let's talk about the price. So the deck core, I'm talking about 19 main deck cards and 13 extra deck cards, is around $155 at the moment. As always, I didn't include non-engine. I also didn't include things like Chaos Angel or Typhon. You don't really need them in the deck anyways. And of course, I didn't include Fedrawless, as I already mentioned, because one copy of Fedrawless is $70. So if you would play Fedrawless, this deck at least costs $360, which is just insanely. The most pricey cards of this deck are Cool Tune Synchro for about $70 a copy and Cool Tune Rotary for about $15 a copy. Sadly, you have to play both of them at 3 for this deck. Other pricey cards are Rico, Mix and Q, which are all between $6 and $8 per copy. Well, back in January, the whole decor was only $90. And what can I say, guys? Told you.
I got the deck core for $90. Once they have some new support, they might actually become dangerous for the meta.
So in conclusion, it is a very pricey deck. $155 is a lot of money. Of course, you get the most powerful deck currently, but it's still a tough price. Alright guys, that's it for the 5 categories, and without further ado, let's dive into the deck profile. Alright guys, as the loyal subscribers you all of course are, you know we always start with the monsters, and the first one we talk about is the brand new Cool Tune Rotary. Amazing card right here. Obviously a tuner, as every Cool Tune monster is, and it has the effect that if this card on the field would be used as synchro material, one tuner in your hand can be used as one of the other materials. An effect shared by all Cool Tune effect monsters, so I won't mention it for the upcoming monsters. This one also has the effect that you can reveal this card and a tuner in your hand, and immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon a tuner. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can activate one of these effects. Place a card from your opponent's graveyard on the bottom of the deck, or look at your opponent's hand, and then you can add a Cool Tune spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And guys, this card is just insane. First of all, it gives you another normal summon, which is so good already, but looking at your opponent's hand and then add a Cool Tune spell or trap is just insane. Hand knowledge plus a search, this card is just broken and you definitely have to play 3. And the next Cool Tune monster we run is 3 copies of Cool Tune Q right here. Still an amazing card, probably one of the best starters you have, because this one, besides the typical Cool Tune effect, has the effect that if it is normal summoned, you can special summon a tuner from your hand, deck or graveyard except itself, and for the rest of this turn, you're locked into special summoning only tuners. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can excavate 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, banish one of them, and place the other on the top or bottom of the deck. So it is an extender on summon. Of course it locks you, but this doesn't bother us, and you have just top deck control right here. Those two in combination are crucial. This one lets you know the current hand of your opponent, and this one lets you choose that top deck, so you know about every card your opponent has before you even pass the turn, which is just insane. So Q, a definite 3 off. Next up, we also run 3 copies of Cool Tune Rico. Probably my favorite Cool Tune monster, at least design-wise. And this one has the effect that if it is normal or special summoned, you can add a Cool Tune monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand except the level 3 monster. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target a spell or trap your opponent controls and destroy it. It also, of course, has the typical Cool Tune effect. So guys, on summon, another extender, spell trap shoot as interruption, great card right here, and definitely a 3 off. Next up, we also run 2 copies of Cool Tune Mix. Also great artwork, and this one has, besides the typical Cool Tune effect, the effect that on normal or special summon you can add a Cool Tune monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except a level 2 monster. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target a monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So basically the same as Rico, just with a monster destroy right here. Also an amazing card. I only played 2, because you don't really need more. I mean, playing 3 is not a bad thing at all, but you actually need the level 2s not that much. In my opinion, running 2 is definitely all you need right here. The final cool Toon monster we run is obviously one copy of Cool Toon Clip. Amazing card right here, again with the typical Cool Toon effect. And also, during your opponent's main phase, if this card is in your hand, quick effect, you can special summon this card, and then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a tuner synchro monster. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can banish face up one random face down card from your opponent's extra deck. So guys, this is quick synchro summoning right here, and also just straight up snatches a card out of your opponent's extra deck. Amazing card right here. Now, I could hear you argue, why not play 3? It's quick synchro summoning, going second, this is amazing. Yes, but you have ways to search it, and you have better hand traps than Clip, because honestly, it is only good when it's paired with Rico, because then you can bring out RS, which is a negate. Otherwise, the turn 0 synchro summoning isn't that useful, so 1 is definitely enough. Mostly you just want to add it to your hand so you're prepared for your opponent's turn. And guys, that's it for the monsters. For the spells, we start things off with 3 copies of Cool Toon Synchro. One of the most pricey cards. I'm so happy I got those when they were cheap. And this quick play spell has the effect that you can add a Cool Toon card from your deck to your hand, except itself, and then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a tuner synchro monster. You cannot special summon for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except tuners, and you can activate up to 2 Cool Toon synchro per turn. Guys, this card is insanely powerful. It's not only a searcher, it also enables quick synchro summoning, and you can activate 2 copies per turn. This card is insanely good. The quick synchro enabler in this deck. #1 search target, amazing card, you have to play 3. And for the final Cool Toon card, we also run 1 copy of JJ Cool Toon. Amazing card as well, which has the effect that you can normal summon a tuner during your main phase each turn in addition to your normal summon or set. So with Rotary and your usual normal summon, this card is your 3rd normal summon of a tuner, which is just insane. Also, it has the effect that each Cool Toon Loudness warrior control gains 3300 attack while your opponent has a tuner in their field or graveyard. Doesn't really bother us, but the other amazing effect is that you can tribute a tuner and add to your hand or special summon a Cool Toon monster from your deck. Also, you're locked into special summoning tuners for the rest of this turn. So it can just switch out any tuner on the field, which is obviously insanely good right here. But you can and you want to search it out, so 1 is definitely enough. Next up, we also run 1 copy of Synchro Overtake. Only 1 left. It was hit in the last ban list. This was the Cool Toon hit, and it has the effect that you can reveal a synchro monster in your extra deck and choose one of the synchro materials mentioned on it and add to your hand or special summon that monster from your deck or graveyard. Also, you can special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn, except synchro monsters. The luck doesn't bother us, and obviously you can show Mix, you can show RS, or you can show Crackle to add Clip, Mix, or Rico respectively. So yeah, just a great searcher right here. Sadly, we only have 1, but we have a way to deal with it, which is the next card called Duelists. Sadly, my 2 other copies didn't arrive in time for this video. I just love it when the mail isn't delivered how it should be. Ordered this like a week ago or something, but anyways. Now, this one has the effect that if you have a tuner in your field or graveyard, you add a synchro spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and you can only activate 1 Duelist-Genesis per turn. So obviously, with any tuner on the field, you can activate this to search Synchro Overtake. I personally run 3 because Synchro Overtake is just a free special summon of 1 of your tuners, but actually I can also see you cutting it down to 2 because once your Synchro Overtake is used, the other cards are dead in hand. So it is a little bit risky. You could cut 1 out if you want to, but in my experience, definitely run 3. Synchro Overtake is such a powerful card, you definitely want to be able to search that out consistently. And since we run no traps, that's already it for the engine. For non-engine, we run 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring right here. Ash still probably the best or one of the best hand traps. Then we follow up with 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, also just an insanely good card. We also play 3 copies of Effect Veiler. I don't see this in a lot of builds anymore, amazing that you can play it in here. Then, pretty basic, we also run 3 Fuvalos. At least I do, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Then we run 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, also a classic hand trap. And then I also included 2 Drawl and Lock Bird right here. Even if it's on 2, still a super powerful card. And we also run 1 Ghost Mourner right here, as well as 1 Ghost Ogre. And of course, 1 Called by the Grave to be hand trap safe. I love this card. Now, let me explain a little bit about the non-engine right here. First of all, as you can see, the amount of non-engine is already insane. We actually have 20 non-engine slots, so half of the deck is non-engine, which is also the reason why this deck is so powerful. But it's more than just that, because as you might remember, your cool tune monsters on the field can use any tuner in your hand to get into a synchro summon. And guess what? This is a tuner, this is a tuner, this is a tuner, this is a tuner, and this is a tuner. So you can actually use each and every one of those for your synchro summons as well. So in this scenario, all those cards are not only non-engine, they can also help you to build your board, which is just insanely powerful, and they have the right levels to do so. 3 is needed in most of the commons, 1 as well, so it's just perfectly right here. Now, I personally run Fuva in the main. I've seen a lot of guys handling the Psychic Frame engine. I personally don't really like this too much because you can draw into dead cards. Also, they are only live when you have no cards on your field. I don't feel too good about those cards. In my last build, I also ran them, but I had not that great experiences. In my opinion, this is the perfect hand trap lineup, but definitely let me know what you think. And guys, that's already it for the main deck. For the extra deck, we start things off with 2 copies of Cool Tune Trackmaker. The boss of the JJ Cool Tune, and an amazing card right here. It is obviously a tuner and needs a Cool Tune tuner and 1 or more tuners. And if this card on the field would be used as synchro material, you can also use a card in your hand for the other material, so just like your other main deck Cool Tune monsters. This one has also the effect that if it is special summoned, you can add a Cool Tune card from your deck to your hand, and if it is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can return a card your opponent controls to the hand. So it's a searcher on summon, so one of your first combo pieces basically, and also nice disruption with the bounce, but definitely 2 are enough. You don't need your 3rd copy. It's just a great searcher right here, so 2 is the perfect ratio in my opinion. Next up, we run 2 copies of Cool Tune RS. Amazing designed monster, and this one needs Cool Tune, Rico, and 1 or more tuners to be synchro summoned. It gains 300 attack for each tuner in the graveyards, and the level of monsters your opponent controls with 1700 or less original attack are increased by 1. And also during the main phase, quick effect, you can banish a tuner from your graveyard and then target a face-up card your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn. Obviously, this is your biggest monster with the attack raise effect it has. The level increasing can be tricky depending on what deck you're up against. A mirror match, for example, this is pretty great. And also, of course, it is an Omni Negate on the field, which is just insanely good. And again, 2 is all we need and totally fine. This also counts for the next one, which is Cool Tune Remix. Amazing card right here. This time needs Cool Tune Mix and 1 or more tuners, and has the effect that it gains 1500 attack while your opponent has a tuner in their field or graveyard. Now, of course, Ash is a thing and it is a tuner, so yeah, it can be at 3000, but don't rely on it. Also, during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can tribute this card, choose 2 non-synchro tuners in your graveyard, add 1 of them to your hand, and if you do, special summon the other, and then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a tuner synchro monster. Now, another way of quick synchro summoning right here, and of course with all the interruption effects it is pretty great. The only sad thing about this is that you, with Rico for example, can't really stop permanent spells or traps that have an effect on activation, because chain 1 would be activation of the permanent spell, chain 2 is remix, you bring out Rico, you use it as synchro material, but then the activation effect already resolves before you can destroy it. But still, it is a great piece of interruption right here, and another quick synchro, so amazing card, and also 2 is the perfect ratio. Next up is another brand new Cool Tune monster, and one that sadly didn't arrive in time. I'm talking about Cool Tune Crackle. Amazing card if it only would have come in time. This one needs Cool Tune Clip and one or more tuners, and if it is synchro summoned, you can look at your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, banish a face-up card from it until the end phase. And then you can make this card gain attack equal to that monster's attack. And if this synchro summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon it, and then you can apply this effect, look at your opponent's extra deck and banish face-up 2 cards from it until the end phase. So obviously, this one is a great piece of interruption during your opponent's turn only, because the unsummon effect is already snatching 1 card, but only until the end phase. So this is only useful during your opponent's turn, and if you use it for another synchro summon, it gets even better because you can snatch 2 more cards out of your opponent's extra deck. So this card alone can snatch 3 cards out of your opponent's extra deck, which can be insanely powerful and basically end their turn right away. But it is very specific, and as I said, you only can use it during your opponent's turn really, so 1 is definitely enough when it comes to this. And next up, we also run 1 copy of Cool Tune Loudness War right here. Very generic, needs 2 or more tuners, and has the effect that other tuners you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, and also your opponent cannot target them with card effects. Pretty good protection actually. And also when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can banish a Cool Tune monster from your graveyard and apply that banished monster's effect that activates when it is sent to the graveyard as synchro material. So this one is actually a huge toolbox which enables you to use every Cool Tune interruption effect you want. So really a great card, but somehow it doesn't really end on your end board too often, so 1 is again definitely enough. And the final Cool Tune monster we run is 1 copy of Cool Tune B2B. Also a new card from Blazing Dominion, and this one has the effect that it first of all needs 1 tuner and 1 or more synchro monsters, and the levels of monsters your opponent controls are increased by 2. Also, your tuners can make a second attack during each battle phase, and when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can target a tuner in your graveyard or banishment, except the level 10 tuner, add it to your hand or special summon it, and then immediately after this effect resolves, you can synchro summon a synchro monster. So another quick synchro. Also, 2 attacks is amazing to finish off the duel, and the level adjustment can also be a nice lock. Now 1 is again enough because it doesn't come up that often, it is basically a card to finish off the duel, so yeah, 1 is all we need. And for other synchro monsters, we also run 2 copies of Xenogenesis the Shackled Dragon. Also amazing card, needs a tuner and 1 or more synchro monsters, and has the effect that if this card you control would be used as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. When a card or effect is activated in response to another card or effect's activation, quick effect, you can activate one of these effects. Negate the first effect and if you do destroy that card, or negate the second effect and if you do destroy that card. So whenever something is chained to something, Xenogenesis can be chain link 3, and then negate chain link 1 or chain link 2. So amazing omni negate, of course only when there is something chained, but obviously this happens often, and it is a tuner himself, it is a level 7, which is easy to reach, so definitely 2 of this right here. The next card also didn't come in time, sadly, it's Shooting Riser Dragon. Now I won't bother explaining the effect, because actually this is only here to deal with things like Contact Z, so you have a level 7 synchro you can go into using your other Cool Tune monsters and get rid of Contact Z. That's really the only reason it is here. And the next one is kind of the same, which is Visa's Amritara. A level 8 synchro, also a tuner himself, also can use only tuners, and has a nice attack boost. You can tribute a monster, so all synchro monsters gain 800 attack. So in combination with B2B, this can finish off the duel real quick, but honestly it's only here so we can have a level 8 synchro if we need it. Then we also play 1 Chaos Angel right here. I guess I don't have to explain this one. You should know what this card does, our synchro 10 right here. And if everything goes south, we also have our Typhon right here to deal with those situations. Alright guys, and that's it for the extra deck. Now since this is my go-to tournament deck, I also mashed together a side deck for you guys. I play 3 Lightning Storm right here, guess I don't have to explain it, as well as 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, so another back row destruction, back row monster destruction obviously, and also 3 Purulia. Very depending on your matchup obviously, depending on the deck you're up against. Retaliating Sea can be a huge floodgate for your opponent, so I decided to pack this in here as well. And also TTT, a great card for your side deck. If you're going second, this can also be huge, or depending on what deck your opponent has. For going first siding, we have 1 Solemn Judgment right here, and also 3 Solemn Warning. So that's my side deck lineup right here. So in conclusion, those are actually your going second cards you want to side in. Going first, the deck is strong enough as it is. You can bump it up with Solemn Warning or Solemn Judgment. Fuva, Droll are cards you can easily side out, for example. And of course, of your big non-engine, you can also just straight up side something out for those. So yeah, those are my picks. Definitely let me know what you think about them in the comments. And that's it for the side deck. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like and a subscription. This would really help us a lot. It's one small click for you, but means the world to us, of course. And we provide you with weekly deck profiles, combo tutorials, test hands, Nexus-Replays, and of course, the best Yu-Gi-Oh! News on YouTube. If you want to further support us, don't forget to check out our Twitch and our Instagram channel with the links in the description. And most importantly, don't forget to let me know what you think about this deck profile down in the comments. We always love to read and answer your comments and stay in touch with our community that way. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time, have a good one.